quick video update of my breeding program. So what I'll be showing you guys today is just a little bit of my breeding and how I paired some of my birds, and then also how I transition them into double bowl so they can produce more babies at a faster rate, and also keeping it comfortable for the birds. And I'll just be showing you guys how I did that. So I've added these shelves in every single one of my breeders. I have about 9 singles, and what it did is it freed up a lot of room because the birds aren't always on the ground technically, or their floor, with a double bowl. So what this did is because of the elevation, which I probably should have done a long time ago. I've had a few people mention it to me, and it's just now that I did it, I can see the difference. So it allows elevation. The birds like to kind of breed, kind of cuddle up in a corner. So and it kind of looks a little bit neater too, and it gives the birds extra space because now their breeding is on top. So this pair just laid their eggs. First time breeding for the cockbird. He was a really nice kit bird, and then because of the way he's bred, he could be very influential in my future breedings. So really excited about using that particular pigeon. The hen, she's one of my older breeders, and that's how I like to breed. I like to put young birds on old proven birds. That way I get somewhat of a reading if the new bird can keep the old bird producing how it was or better. If the bird doesn't do better, or the birds off the pair aren't better than before, then we'll move on from the young bird. Obviously, you know, your old bird's already established, so it's just easier to narrow down your good birds. And then also transitioning over to bringing in new birds, they prove themselves out on the old bird. So it's like a win-win method that I use. This guy right here doesn't have a mate currently. I have a really nice hen that I'm gonna mate to this guy. I just broke him up from a different bird, so I was just might introduce her to him maybe later today or tomorrow. And this is how I like to introduce my birds. If you guys notice, the cockbird's in here by himself. Makes him a little bit less aggressive towards the hen, because he's not like in dominant mode. He's almost like in breeding mode because he's by himself. So for those guys that are new to breeding, it's just something that's worked for me. Putting the cockbird in the nest box first, and then maybe on the next video I'll introduce the hen so you guys can see the reaction of the bird. Will give you a good indication whether the mating is gonna take, or sometimes you will run into an issue where the birds will fight back, and you know, they'll end up fighting each other. More often than not, you'll get them to mate. So I'll be showing you guys that maybe in the next few videos. This pair here, they're ready to put down their second round. So what I like to do is I like to prep them a nest ball. And just real simple, I use clay bowls with a nesting pad, and then a handful of pine needles, and it just helps them build their nest. I personally use the pine needle because the pine needle has a scent that it just keeps bugs away. So not only does it help your pigeons create a nest, it's like a repellent for little bugs that would normally try to crawl into your cage. So you can tell that guy's ready for round number 2. So you guys can see right here their baby. And he hatched that one baby. So usually when the baby's about this big, when it starts to feather, is when I'll add the second bowl. So that's kind of like my indication of when to add the second bowl. And then maybe in a few more days I'll band the pigeon. I don't band them when they're too little because I don't like when the bands fall off. So I'll band him in a few more days. Here's another one of my pairs. This is the oldest baby of this year. You guys can see they're on 2 more eggs. Baby looking real nice. Probably pull this bowl today. Just gives the baby a little bit more confidence to come and eat on his own, which I've already seen the baby eat, but because it's only one, I'm not gonna pull it out just yet. I'll wait till the rest get a little bit older. I really don't like to pull out just one baby. Normally you want to pull at least 3 or 4 just because they cuddle each other and keep warm at night. And then not only that, they learn from each other. You'll get like one fast drinker and one fast eater. So they'll just kind of monkey see, monkey do. This pair is ready for their second round of babies. They've already started to build their new nest. Just added this today. And then, like I said earlier, when the babies get about this age is when I'll add the second bowl, because the baby, so it already has feathers, so at nighttime, let's just say both parents stay down here, the baby's still safe at night because it's already feathered. So you don't want to add the second bowl too fast, because then you can create an issue. The parents are gonna think that it's time to breed again too soon. Some parents will know, some won't, but just to be cautious and then to put out the right information, you don't want to double bowl too soon. You want to wait till at least the baby feathers. Gives the baby a better chance of survival if the parents do move on to breed, because now they don't have to keep the baby warm. They just have to come back to feed, and then they could go back down here. It should be a pretty good pair. I don't think they'll leave the baby. They've bred before, so they're pretty good. And then we got this pair here, which is probably my favorite pair of the year, only because they're new to what I'm doing, and I'm really excited to fly birds off of this particular pair. These birds do go back to Steve Smith and some of his better birds that he's kept over the years, so I was real lucky to be able to handpick these particular 2. I bred a few last year, maybe 1 or 2 birds, but I lost the one particular I was flying in an overfly, and the bird was starting to do really good, so really hate to have lost that bird. But it looks like we got another one here. This time it looks like we got a little red. So real nice pair. Starting to get warm, so I think breeding's gonna be in full effect here in the next couple days. So pretty soon we'll see a few birds out. Hopefully this next round all birds take at the same time, so we can get a nice kit going this year. So I do feed my breeders 22% pellets, and this is what the birds eat while they're feeding babies. So this pair here, their babies should be hatching in the next couple days. So I like to give them the 22% before the baby hatches. When they aren't just yet breeding, kind of like this bird, he's waiting for his mate, the birds will get a mixture of 15-5, no corn. That way the birds have a nice mixed diet. You don't want to keep them on 22% pellets too long, because it's technically only for breeding, and just the content in what it carries is just a lot more than the 15-5. And then two, what you're able to do is give your birds grain versus a pellet, so it just helps the overall health of the pigeon. And I think they actually like the grain more than the pellet. So just something I'd like to share with you guys. Just some of the breeding tips I've learned over the years. And I've learned from some pretty good guys, you know, some of the guys that taught me some of the stuff that I share, and some of the stuff that I've learned over the years comes from some of the top breeding guys and rollers. So anyone that takes on the information being shared would be a good thing. So I'll keep you guys updated once I start getting these guys out and start flying some of the kit birds we got. Comment, subscribe, and let me know what you guys think.